What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to go over a collection of news stories you might have missed. I know today's been a really busy day for news, so I thought I would try this style of video on this channel. Let me know if you like it. Leave a like if you like it. So let's start with the first news story of the day, which is Mortal Kombat is coming tomorrow. Now, this was like a big lead up throughout the day. We actually had the snitch this morning who came back from the dead that talked about that tomorrow we were going to get a CGI trailer for it. Now, the question is, well, actually, you can really lean into what the snitch said, right? Because if we now know that the trailer is going to be shown tomorrow and it is going to be Mortal Kombat, it was the Mortal Kombat account that actually tweeted it, well, I think it's just going to be the official reveal, right? The official announcement. Even though it was already announced by their higher up, their executives, that's their fault, not necessarily NetherRealm's fault. So you would see it, but then the question really becomes to me, okay, well, when do you see it again? Is this like a double dipper? And I guess what I mean by that is this something that appears tomorrow when we get to see it, and then we also see it, say, at the PlayStation Showcase, or then we see it at Summer Game Fest. Now, Jeff Keighley showed the last Mortal Kombat. He announced it, and he gave the release date for it at the end of that trailer. So it would not surprise me, especially because Warner Bros. Also said that this game releases this year. So, you announce it tomorrow. Game probably comes out, what do you want to say, October, November, just make it safe. So it's kind of full steam ahead. You could probably take like a month or two, go dark here and there. But overall, I think you could show it tomorrow and then show it literally again one more time very, very quickly at the PlayStation Showcase, if that's the idea. And there was so much talk. I guess the reason why you bring in the PlayStation Showcase, there were so many rumors that it's linked to PlayStation in some way. So tomorrow we could just get kind of a basic, it's real, here's the name, maybe some small tease of whatever. And then next week you see, say, full-on, gameplay or Summer Game Fest. Doesn't really matter to me as long as we see it. Next up is the Expanse. So, smaller game. I'm not going to sugarcoat it and pretend like everybody cares about this game, but this game does look extremely interesting. Technically, this is the first kind of revival of Telltale. I mean, it's not them making it, but it's them kind of producing it, right? Publishing it into the world. And the announcement specifically for this, there's more than one thing going on here. So number one, you get the release date for the first episode of The Expanse, which is July 27th. Okay, so that's great for people that are interested in the game, and I am too. I'm going to be getting the game. We also know the price of the game, and it's $40 for the standard, $45 for the deluxe, and the deluxe comes with DLC. Now, I don't love the idea of DLC for an episodic game, but we also don't know what it is, and it's $5 more. So I highly doubt that means like a full-on episode. Doesn't mean cosmetics, like what actually happens in this DLC. So that's something that, again, maybe not even for The Expanse, but like, is this something Wolf Among Us takes inspiration from, considering it's Telltale? And do they do DLC? Again, like, how does DLC even work for something like this? We also know if you pre-order the game, you get 24-hour early access. I kind of love this because this isn't even if you get the deluxe edition, right? We've seen so many games, you pay the $10 extra from standard to deluxe. You get to play the game 3 days early, right? That was a thing that became popular a few years back, and everybody kind of does it now. This is simply pre-order it, and you could pre-order the standard and you'll be able to play it a day before. I really love that. So technically July 26th, I suppose. But the biggest thing is the release schedule. So episode 1 is locked in at that late July, right? But then every episode after, 2 through 5, comes out 2 weeks after. So every 2 weeks, you're getting a new episode. I adore that. And they hinted at this with Wolf Among Us back in the day when they talked to Jeff Keighley and they said, what we want to do for Wolf is it's still going to be episodic. It's not going to all come out at the same time. We're going to have episode 1 come out, and then all the episodes are already done. So you would get them faster. There'd be no delays because everything's kind of finished. I want to say they mentioned a month, that a month is something that they were considering. I could have totally made that up in my memory banks here. That could actually not be true. But the reason why this is important, again, I will be getting The Expanse, so it is, I guess, important for me as well, and I'll be covering it. But really, it's to look down the line to Wolf Among Us, which is a game that I absolutely cannot wait for, and I really hoped and wished that it was going to come out this year. Obviously, it got pushed to next year. This is the strategy. I fully believe this is the idea. So I don't know if, again, you mimic it for Wolf and do a standard and a deluxe and have the deluxe just be DLC. And I mean, if you do Wolf Among Us, the pre-order thing, you get to play it a day early, that's pretty cool. But most importantly, I think that release schedule, that's probably exactly what you do for Wolf Among Us. I was honestly just hoping monthly, just to, like, let's just keep it safe. Let's have an episode every 4 weeks. You know, every month you get an episode. 5 months later, the game is over. That's what I had hoped in like a perfect world. If we could get it every 2 weeks, episode 1 of Wolf, 2 weeks later, episode 2, 2 weeks later, that would be fantastic. So I very much hope that that is going to be the pattern going forward from Telltale, you know, from here on out. Next story, I got to bring in this man over here, Nicolas Cage. I'm going to be dead honest. I thought this was fake. So I saw the video that, Dead by Daylight's developers, Behavior, right? They published a video and said, Nick Cage is coming, and the trailer's like absolutely incredible. It's everything that you want. I saw that because it was leaked like an hour before it, and I clicked away from it. Like I watched it, and I didn't think it was actually real. I guess I watched only the very beginning of it, so I'm glad that it is real. July 5th, they say we're gonna have more information. I think the 7-year live stream, though, isn't that like next Tuesday? It's like this upcoming. Well, not this is the week. So next week, let's say, is when their live stream where they're gonna provide updates and kind of like a roadmap and stuff. So I don't know if Nick Cage, which I can't even believe you can say that. I can't believe you can say Nick Cage is coming to Dead by Daylight. I don't know if you'll be able to play as Nick Cage on July 5th, or like that's like some sort of like event where maybe that's when the test servers go live for it. I'm sure we'll find out more next week. I think next week will now be very important to watch, just for the simple fact of Nick Cage. But isn't that freaking nuts? I love Dead by Daylight, by the way. I don't really cover it or talk about or play it anymore, but years ago it was such. I could go into a long story about what Dead by Daylight means to me and my family, to take a book from Dominic Toretto. But no, I think I'll play it. Like, I think I'd go back easily. You can't not play as Nick Cage. Are you kidding me? And to have a squad of Nick Cages, like, that would just be freaking insane. So had to bring this up in this video. And then for the final news story, I actually want to shout out my friend Beware the Batman over on Twitter. Great guy. He sent me this, and I was like, oh my dear God. So we've talked a lot about Gollum kind of in piecemeal over the last couple months. I talked about how, it looks shaky. The last we saw of it actually looked pretty good. It definitely looked like above average, and is something I'm still considering getting. But we've also talked about some of the practices of almost splitting up the game for the deluxe edition, all that stuff. The short of it is, if you guys don't know, there's the deluxe. I think it's like the Precious Edition, whatever it's called. $10 more, and it comes with stuff, but some of that stuff is like NPC talk. So you'll be in the game, and I forget the language, but it's like one of the languages in Lord of the Rings. So it makes it more world accurate. It makes the world feel more alive. That's actually what they say in the description for this deluxe edition. So you pay the $10. One of the things you're paying for is when you're playing this game, you will hear background chatter of NPCs. That is paid. You don't actually get that, at least in their actual language that they should be in the game. You will not get that if you do not pay that extra $10. So I made a whole video on that. If you want like the more detailed breakdown, you can find that video. This is almost as bad. It's not, I don't think it's as bad, but it continues to show practices from like 2010. I don't know, like this, the idea of splitting up the game and you can hear words being spoken in the game only if you pay for it. That's very much like 10, 15 years ago when we went down that like road, and that largely died. I don't know why we're back all of a sudden. I don't know why Gollum needs to be the game to do it. Pre-order the Lord of the Rings Gollum to receive the Emotes Pack DLC, which includes 6 of Gollum's iconic gestures and sayings. So again, the biggest thing I take away from this is iconic. Like, now you can probably read into it and like imagine what they actually are, but just in the description, you're telling us that these are things that are known because of Gollum. Like, these are things, either sayings or, physical things that he'll be doing. These are things that Gollum to have done, and you have to pre-order to get it. So, again, now we just talked about, pre-orders with like the Expanse. You pre-order it, you get something that if you didn't pre-order, you wouldn't get. It's not that big of a deal. You're not paying extra for it, right? But considering what I had just said, right? Like, go back to their other practices in this deluxe edition. It's just, why are we doing this, right? So I would say on its own, if this was the only thing we saw of Gollum, it wouldn't be a big deal. I would not fight you if you want to say, Alex, this isn't a big deal, leave it alone. All right, that's fine. But combining it with their other strategy of the deluxe edition thing, I don't get it. I don't get the idea of these are things that should just be in the game. And I know that's such like a cliche thing, but it's actually very real and very pure that these things should just flat out be in the game. You shouldn't have to do this stuff. So I don't know. I really don't know how to feel about Gollum. Hopefully it's good. We'll see. It actually comes out literally next Thursday. It comes out in 1 week. So that should be a lot of fun to see the scores it gets and when people actually get to play it. Maybe I'll play it. Maybe I won't. And we'll see what happens. So let me know what you guys think of these stories in the comments. Let me just throw this in here really, really quickly. I normally do these exact kinds of videos where I combine news. I normally do this on Podcast Now Plus, my second channel, kind of like an add-on channel. Today, there were so many big stories, I felt like I should put it on this channel. If you guys like this stuff, well, number one, sub to the second channel. But number two, maybe I can do more of these videos here versus the second channel. Whatever you guys want. Let me know. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all on the next one.